about this. Okay, something happened. Okay, fine. IP address conflict, no issue. So going back to my presentation, let's see if we can see one more video. What shall we look at? Hans Rosling, yes. Hans Rosling is remarkable for his ability to bring numbers to life. Okay, not working somehow. Alright, so you get the picture, right? I mean, these are things that you can easily incorporate into your teaching. How many of you are OB people here? This is a fantastic video on leadership and meaning of life and stuff like that. Also, it's all about the operations. How do they actually improve the quantity and quality of the work that they do? Right? So, I think that's probably enough of an introduction to material out there that's available. One. Okay, we talked about video. As I said, I keep repeating this. Video is compelling. If it's well-produced video, you can't help watching it. You can't help being affected by it. Okay? Captures your attention. And I mean, if you get a professionally done video, this is what TED does. You know, they work with you to make that video concise, compelling, and something that you can't ignore. And you know, when I watched that video of that old doctor, Dr. V, who was the heart and soul behind urban eye care, I get tears in my eyes because this man has a vision, a compelling vision that is very effective. Now, even if you don't do this, that's the other thing I wanted to show. This video that I had uploaded yesterday of, I don't know if I'll be able to do this, it's some problem with the computer, but Chrome's not working. Okay, never mind. But I wanted to show you this video that I just took yesterday on this phone. Just put it up on YouTube. It's very, not able to bring it up. Just bring up Google. Oh, sorry, Chrome. Right, but as I said, as I was going to say, what I was planning to say is, even if it's not beautifully created, right, like 10 videos, or if it's just an ordinary lecture that you just shoot, even that is fairly good. It's it also kind of challenges you now. You can, all of us can do better lectures. So why not do it when, especially when it's being captured for posterity? Let's do a better job of that. So. Yeah, so my belief is that even our regular lectures, if we videotape them, may be reasonably interesting. But never mind, just leave it, okay? It's okay, just leave it. Just go back to the PowerPoint. Close back. Okay, thank you. Okay. Now, all of this is not without some issues. If you're doing, web-based stuff, how do you ensure that you can? I mean, let's say you are creating video that is then broadcast to a lot of people. How do you evaluate them in a way that's meaningful? The other problem I have had, Satish and my colleague here, we have taught a course at a university where we found that we had students from all over the country sitting in these web centers, right? And we found that they were just copying from each other, right? They didn't show, they would show up, sign in, and then just go away, right? And then that was okay, but then when we were doing the exam, we found that they would just bribe the fellow who was running the web center and they would just copy, which is not good. And I also found, I did some work with IIMB. I was in a program, we were teaching there for a long time. I was in a program where we had simultaneous, simulcast lectures between Bangalore and Chennai. So I had a class of about 75 people, and about 50 in Bangalore and about 25 in Chennai. And out of 30 hours, I was supposed to do 10 hours in Chennai and 20 in Bangalore, something like that. What I found was, when I was in Bangalore, even though it was beautifully simulcast, you had, you know, a person, video person sitting there following the lecturer quite carefully, and when a student asked a question, they would focus on the student. And you had big screens in both places, so you could really see what was going on. It was still not that appealing a mechanism, because let's say I'm talking, and then a student, you know, let's say you ask a question. By the time the photographer, the videographer focused on you, it's like 2-3 seconds. That breaks the thread. Okay, so I found that even though it was well done simulcasting, it was not very attractive or not very appealing to the students. They preferred it when the faculty was right in front of them. So I don't know if that will be an issue. Would students say, no, I don't like this stuff that I want to profess it on to? The certificate, we don't know if it's got a good value. The alumni network is only wrong. So to sum it up, you know, technology is out there, compelling technology that can enable you to invent or experiment with new kinds of teaching methods. Enormous amount of content. I've just shown you stuff that, you know, we took about 10 minutes to find a bunch of stuff. Whatever you're interested in, there's a great deal of material out there. And you too could be not only a consumer of content, but also a creator. So I think that's my last slide, and I'll stop here. Any questions?
Audacity is a free event?
Audacity is free. That's not the only one, there's a bunch of others. I just found Audacity convenient, so I put it up. And I found creating a podcast not very difficult. You just talk into it and then it'll spit out an MP3 and you upload it. That's it. Simple. Even the video. The problem with video is that it creates large files. So yesterday I took a minute worth of video of this young woman who was giving a lecture. That was 100 megabytes because I've got a high definition, you know, camera. So it's a little, it takes a while to upload it. Other than that, it's just literally trivial. I videotaped it and then I opened up my YouTube application and just uploaded it. It took 10 minutes and that's it. So content creation, I'm saying it's absurdly easy. Okay, but one thing we didn't see in the, that's one of the things I wanted to show you with Simon Sinek. You know, when you're giving a lecture, if you have a professional videographer who is shooting you when it's appropriate, shooting the screen when it's appropriate, etc., then it's better. But you can approximate it by just like what he's doing, just standing there. I mean, just leaving that camera on a tripod. That's still probably okay, but it won't be quite as good. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I understand TED is offering an option for us to edit their videos, interlay questions, etc.
This I do not know. I'm a massive consumer of TED videos. Because they are quite short, right? I just sit and watch them. What I do is I either watch them or I listen to the audio while I'm exercising. But it's a treasure trove of content. I mean, the stuff I have on, you know, on my phone with TED Talks, like I've got this guy, Hans Rosling. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to show you what Rosling has to say. It's just amazing because he makes statistics come absolutely alive. And that sounds like an odd thing to say, but if you watch him, you're just totally, you know, amazed by the kinds of things he says. Then I had a gentleman named Villayanur Ramachandran. Have you heard of him? He's a very, very well-known neurologist, and so I had a couple of videos from Ramachandran. He was talking about you know, the neurons that shape civilization. Another, Charles Ledbetter on innovation. Simon Sinek, this video. As you mentioned, the Salman Khan video, I have it on my phone. Salman Khan, let's use video to reinvent education. That's his TED Talk. Neil Ferguson, who's a historian, I think at Harvard, he talks about the 6 killer applications of prosperity. He's looking at how economic history has in a story of how the West had these 5-6 major things that they did that enabled them to succeed. James Hansen, he's a well-known astrophysicist and a climatologist. He says, why I must speak out about climate change. Jonathan Haidt about religion, evolution, and the ecstasy of self-transcendence, psychologist. Atul Gawande, who's a well-known American doctor. How do we heal medicine? So it's eclectic mix of stuff. It's just amazing. I mean, I do quite a few, right? How about TED? TED, a few? Okay. Good. So some of you are familiar with some of the ideas I'm going to talk about. Just wanted to get a feel of that. Okay. So talking somewhat philosophically, we have our traditional teaching method, and as good as it is, obviously all of us have come through that system, and we've been using. I have to keep on saying that because there's so much stuff on so many things which you can use for your own personal edification, but also for your students, right? Well, I know that many of the students, at least my students, I have to beat them up before they go read the Economic Times. Okay, so I don't know, but they like the video. Somehow video is something they're more used to. They don't like paper, right? Many students have reached a point where they're far more comfortable with doing it. Right, so TED has big use. Any other questions? Now, did you guys get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying, right? There's stuff out there. Use it. It's free, right? MITx, obviously they charge some money, but the Salman Khan, he's now viewed as this great philanthropist in some ways. He's creating knowledge. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost all the videos are by Salman Khan himself. Talking about finance, he was a hedge fund guy. And he said, I didn't see any meaning in my life. What do hedge fund guys do? They make a lot of money, right? So he said, once I got this, I got enthused. So this is something that I find exciting, not only for the content, but even the concept. See, if you create good video, well, of course, there is a question of how do you market it. That I don't have a good answer for. But if you create a good video, there are a lot of people who come and listen to you.
But so it might be limited resources. Like what the contemporary issues we will not get from there. Like whatever it is uploaded, that only we can.
Of course. That's right. I mean, it's not as though it's an encyclopedia. Of course, there is an encyclopedia also, the Wikipedia, right? Which has everything on everything, every topic you want. So yeah, you may not find exactly what you want. Then what you do is you create that. If there is a topic that you're really interested in that nobody's talking about, hey, you create the video. TED won't put it up because they have very strict rules about what they put up. But you can put it up on YouTube and tell people about it. Like the first time I put something on YouTube, I'd gone to a wedding and they had a classical music group sitting there, and it was just the wedding reception. They were just playing this song that I really like. And that's when I realized I could just videotape it and put them on YouTube.
Stumble is sort of
I'm not forgetting this one.
very, very good.
What is it? Stumble upon, right? It's a way of finding new things. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it. Like TED, but maybe many areas better than that.
Okay, I just don't know about it. Stumble upon, is it? Okay.
Stumble.com.
Stumble.com. There's some others also, Reddit, right? And on my phone, I have an application called Flipboard. Flipboard is an aggregator. So they aggregate technology news, technology. They aggregate, like general news, stuff like that. So I find that's an interesting point you brought up. See, serendipity again. You find things that you're not looking for. One of the great things about going to a library and just browsing, same thing with these aggregators. So this Flipboard, for example, I'm interested in 3-4 areas. Technology I'm interested in, news I'm interested in, design I'm interested in. So I get a lot of material about these things. Actually, there are other ways you can get this stuff. Also Twitter, for example, Twitter news feeds, right? If you find a few people who are interesting on Twitter, you get a lot of information. So there's an absolute explosion of information out there. Incredible amounts of terabytes, petabytes worth of information out there.
The advantage is I think some of the language our students would have some difficulty understanding, but but they can replay it and replay it to help them with the
Understanding.
concepts. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's not only content knowledge, but also language knowledge.
Sure.
Improvement.
Right, right. Yeah, actually that's a big problem here that you know, people, students just refuse to speak English because people laugh at it because they're poor. So if you watch this for a while, your English is going to improve, right? So you're quite right. Okay, there are no further questions. I'll stop here and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your session. It definitely has a lot of takeaway from all the details out here. I would like to invite Professor Sri Kumar to give the memento on behalf of TCS Math Means.
Thank you. Fun for you, but fun for me.
It's very fun.
Right.
That's a lot.
That for millennia, one of the problems with the traditional method is that you pretty much are teaching the average student, right? If you have an extraordinary student or a very poor student, you cannot customize your teaching. It's basically impossible, right? So we end up having a mechanism which is sort of one size fits all. And that's okay because you're hitting the bell curve people. But what happens to people who are not quite following what you're saying? Doesn't necessarily mean they're stupid. They just didn't get it. So is there a way that you can help them? And it's also synchronous, right? Typically, when you teach, they have to be there, right? It's at the same time. So the alternative teaching methods tend to give you a few different benefits. One is that it is customizable in the sense that since it's self-paced primarily, a student who didn't understand it the first time can do it the second time, can read it the second time, third time, and they may have this sort of aha moment where they actually, you know, the thing dawns on them. So it is customizable to a great extent. And secondly, you as a faculty, you may in fact make the lesson, you know, you can mold the lesson in a way that you say, okay, press this button, for example, if you want more exercises. Let's say, for example, you know, not a management course, but let's say it's a calculus course, and you've just taught them some really important concept, and you can say, do you want drills? Do you want to do 15 problems? You can do that, right? So you can actually customize it to some extent. What I mean about the long tail is that, are you all familiar with the idea of the long tail? I'm sure you are. And the idea is that in the olden days, for example, if you wanted to stock your bookshelves, you know, you're a bookseller, you basically focused on the median people, the bell curve, you know, the plus minus 1 sigma people. So if you were somebody who had a plus 3 sigma situation, that is, the book that you wanted only sold 10 copies a year, right? You were out of luck. Same thing with music. But today, especially with music, you can store an infinite number of, practically infinite number of you know, CDs on the web. So the long tail, the person who's 4 sigma, 3 sigma, right? Meaning if the total sales are 1 million, this person only wants the product that's sold once every 5 years, but that's still there. That's what I mean by the long tail. So in other words, you can reach more of that space rather than the plus minus 1 sigma, right? You can reach the plus 2 sigma, plus 3 sigma kind of people. You're able to reach out to a greater audience. And it's asynchronous, obviously, right? If the material is out there on the web, you can read it or pay or listen to it or view it anytime. You're completely agnostic as far as geography or time zone is concerned, right? I mean, there could be a professor in Trivandrum who's put up a lesson, and you could have a student sitting in, I don't know, in Peru who can watch it at their pace. And it's also, you know, somewhat language agnostic in the sense that, for example, maybe your lecture is in English, and you can, if you want to reach out to Chinese people, you can get it captioned.